She's not allowed in that room. I don't care if she found the fraud. The client will take one look at her and walk. Get Michael in there instead. That's what Patricia Chen, a woman, said about Maya Rodriguez, 30 seconds before Maya exposed an $8 billion fraud that would have destroyed everyone in that building. But here's the part that'll make your blood boil. The fraud Maya found? She discovered it while working on a project she'd been explicitly forbidden from touching because her own boss, again a woman, told her she wasn't serious enough for high-stakes work. Why? The tattoos on both arms, the nose ring, the purple streaks in her hair. Never mind that Maya had a Stanford MBA. Never mind that she'd been analyzing tech acquisitions for 5 years. Never mind that she was literally the most qualified person in the building for this specific deal. She looked wrong, so she was wrong. For 3 months, Maya watched men take credit for her analysis. 3 months of being told to tone it down. 3 months of having her name removed from reports she'd written and replaced with Michael's name. Michael, who had half her experience and couldn't tell a balance sheet from a grocery list. But Maya needed this job. Her 16-year-old sister had leukemia. The treatment that could save her life? $300,000, not covered by insurance. So Maya dyed her hair black, covered her tattoos, removed her piercings, made herself invisible. It didn't matter. They still treated her like she didn't exist. Then the Meridian Capital deal happened. $8 billion on the line, their star analyst on maternity leave, the client CEO demanding answers in 3 weeks or the deal died. And Maya, the unprofessional woman they'd been hiding in the back office, she was the only person who could save them. So she did something that should have gotten her fired. She worked on the deal in secret. Every night after everyone left, she stayed until 3 a.m. building an analysis they said she wasn't capable of. And she found something that made her stop breathing. One of the companies they were about to recommend for acquisition, it was committing fraud, massive, career-destroying $8 billion fraud. Now Maya had a choice. Report it and risk everything, her job, her sister's treatment, her entire future, or stay quiet, let the fraud slide, keep the job, and save her sister's life. What she chose to do next didn't just prove them wrong. It triggered a federal investigation, got her boss fired, made her testify before Congress, and exposed something so toxic about workplace discrimination that 3 major firms changed their policies. By the end of this story, the same boss who told Maya to tone it down was being escorted out of the building by security. This is the story of Maya Rodriguez, the woman they tried to erase, the woman who refused to disappear. And if you've ever been told you're too much, too loud, too colorful, or not corporate enough, this story is about to validate every frustration you've ever felt. Let's get into it. Maya Rodriguez's first day at Hamilton and Pierce started with a mistake. Not her mistake, theirs. She walked into the lobby at 8:45 a.m. wearing a blazer, professional slacks, and heels, hair pulled back, minimal jewelry. She'd done everything right, except she'd forgotten to cover her tattoos. The male receptionist looked up, saw the geometric patterns on her forearms, and without missing a beat said, "Ma'am, if you're here for a delivery, the loading dock is around back." Maya just stared at him. "I'm here for my first day, Maya Rodriguez. I'm joining the investment analysis team." The color drained from his face. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I thought you thought I was a delivery driver because of my tattoos." "I didn't mean." "It's fine." It wasn't fine, but what was she gonna do? Start her first day with an argument? By 10 a.m., Maya was sitting across from her new boss, Patricia Chen. Patricia was 52, impeccably dressed, with a reputation as one of the toughest women in finance. She'd clawed her way to senior partner at Hamilton and Pierce by being smarter, tougher, and more ruthless than any man in the building. She was also, as Maya was about to discover, her own worst enemy. "Maya," Patricia began, not looking up from her computer, "I'm going to be direct. I went to bat to hire you. Your credentials are excellent. Stanford MBA, 5 years at a respected firm. On paper, you're exactly what we need. Thank you. I'm excited to... But we need to address the elephant in the room. Patricia finally looked up. Your appearance. Maya's stomach dropped. The tattoos, the nose ring, the purple in your hair. Patricia's voice was clinical, like she was discussing a financial report. That might fly in San Francisco, but this is Boston. This is Hamilton and Pierce. We have a certain standard. I dressed professionally today, Maya said carefully. You're wearing short sleeves. Your tattoos are visible. That's not professional. They're just tattoos. They're a distraction. They signal that you're not serious about your career. Maya felt heat rising in her chest. With respect, my tattoos have nothing to do with my analysis abilities. It's not about your abilities. It's about client perception. Our clients are CEOs, board members, institutional investors, old money, old school. They expect a certain type of analyst. What type? Her expression hardened. The type that doesn't make them uncomfortable. The words hung in the air. So, what are you saying? Maya asked quietly. I'm saying long sleeves, always. The nose ring needs to go. And I'd strongly recommend dyeing your hair back to a natural color. Black would be best. You want me to change my appearance to keep my job? I want you to present yourself in a way that allows clients to focus on your work and not your aesthetic choices. Maya thought about her sister, about the medical bills piling up, about the experimental treatment that was Jade's only chance. She needed this job. Understood, Maya said, hating herself for it. Good. Patricia's tone softened slightly. Look, I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm trying to help you succeed here. I've been in this industry for 30 years. I know what it takes. And unfortunately, appearances matter, especially for women. Especially for women who don't look like you mean. The words were out before Maya could stop them. Patricia's eyes flashed. Excuse me? Maya backtracked. I just meant women face different standards. I know exactly what you meant. Patricia stood up. Let me give you some advice, Maya. I got where I am by playing the game, by being smarter than the men and more palatable than the other women. You can fight the system or you can work within it. Your choice. But only one of those options will get you the bonus you need for your sister's treatment. Maya's blood ran cold. How do you know about my sister? I know everything about the people who work for me, including why you really took this job. Patricia walked to the door. Your desk is in the analyst pit, back right corner. Get settled in. And Maya, fix the hair by next week. She left. Maya sat there, shaking. The analyst pit was exactly what it sounded like, an open floor plan with rows of cubicles where junior analysts worked 80-hour weeks for the privilege of maybe someday becoming senior analysts. Maya's desk was in the worst spot, furthest from windows, next to the printer that jammed constantly, in the back corner where nobody would have to see her unless they specifically went looking for her. The message was clear: out of sight, out of mind. Her first afternoon she spent setting up her workspace, trying to ignore the stares. A few people introduced themselves, polite but distant. Most just looked and whispered. Around 3 p.m., a woman about Maya's age appeared at her cubicle. Maya Rodriguez? That's me. Keisha Williams. I'm in the M&A group. She glanced around, then lowered her voice. Listen, I heard about your meeting with Patricia, that whole change your appearance speech. Word travels fast. Girl, this is a gossip factory disguised as an investment firm. Keisha leaned against the cubicle wall. For what it's worth, I think it's bullshit. Your tattoos are cool, the purple hair is awesome, and Patricia's whole client perception argument is just code for enforcing outdated standards. Maya felt her eyes getting wet. It was the first kindness anyone had shown her all day. Thanks, that means a lot. Just be careful, okay? Patricia Chen is brilliant, but she's internalized a lot of toxic stuff about what women need to do to succeed in finance. Internalized how? She changed everything about herself to fit in. Name, appearance, personality. She used to go by Patty, now it's Patricia. She used to have a sense of humor, now she's all business all the time. She made herself exactly what the old white male partners wanted, a woman who acts like a man but looks like a woman. That's depressing. It's survival. At least that's what she thinks. Anyway, I should get back, but if you need anything, someone to eat lunch with, advice on navigating this place, whatever, find me, okay? Okay, thank you. After Keisha left, Maya pulled out her phone, a text from her mom. How was your first day, mija? Maya looked around the analyst pit, at the cookie-cutter cubicles, at the sea of conservative suits and neutral colors, at her reflection in her dark computer screen, tattoos visible, defiant. She replied, "It's going to be an adjustment." That night, Maya went to a drugstore and bought black hair dye. 3 months into her job at Hamilton and Pierce, Maya Rodriguez had become a ghost. Every morning at 7 a.m., she put on long-sleeved blouses that made her sweat in the summer heat. The nose ring stayed home. The purple hair was now jet black, pulled back in a severe bun that gave her headaches. She looked like everyone else. Conservative, controlled, corporate. It changed nothing. Here's what nobody tells you about workplace discrimination. It's not always loud. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's just erasure. Picture this. You spend 3 days building a complex financial model, analyzing data, running scenarios, checking calculations. You present it in a team meeting. Your manager nods, says, "We'll take a look," and moves on. 2 days later, that same analysis appears in a client presentation with Michael Henderson's name on it. Every chart, every insight, every recommendation. All yours, all credited to him. The first time it happened, Maya thought it was a mistake. The second time, she knew it wasn't. By the 5th time, she'd stopped expecting anything different. "Doesn't it bother you?" Keisha asked one day at lunch. They were sitting in the mostly empty cafeteria, the place Maya had started eating because it was better than sitting alone at her desk. "Of course it bothers me," Maya said, pushing salad around her plate. "But what am I supposed to do? March into Patricia's office and demand credit?" "Yes, exactly that." "Keisha, I need this job. My sister's treatment starts in 6 months. If I rock the boat, I lose the bonus. If I lose the bonus, Jade doesn't get treated." "So you're just going to let them steal your work?" Maya looked at her friend. "What would you do?" Keisha was quiet for a moment. "I don't know. That's what kills me. I don't know." That's when Michael Henderson walked by their table with 2 other male analysts. He glanced at Maya, smirked, and kept walking. "You know what the worst part is?" Maya said quietly. "He knows. Michael knows he's getting credit for my work, and he doesn't care. Actually, no, he's happy about it, because to him, this is how it should be. Men get the credit, women do the work." "Patricia's a woman," Keisha pointed out. "She's the one putting his name on your reports." "I know. That's what makes it worse." The stolen credit happened again the next week. Maya had spent 4 days analyzing the competitive landscape for a retail client. She'd identified 3 emerging competitors that nobody else had noticed. She'd mapped out their growth trajectories, their funding sources, their strategic advantages. In the team meeting, Patricia barely glanced at Maya's report. "Michael, can you present this to the client on Thursday?" Michael, who hadn't even read the report until that morning, nodded. "Sure thing." Maya raised her hand. "I'd like to present it. I did the analysis." The room went quiet. Patricia's expression was ice cold. "Michael has better client rapport." "How would you know? I've never been allowed in a client meeting." "That's enough, Maya." "It's not enough. This is the 6th time you've put Michael's name on my work. The 6th time you've given him credit for analysis he didn't do." Michael shifted uncomfortably. "Look, I don't want to cause problems." "Then tell them," Maya said directly at him. "Tell Patricia that you didn't do this work, that I did." Michael looked at Patricia, at the other analysts watching, at Maya, waiting. Then he said, I helped with the analysis. Lie. Complete lie. Maya felt something break inside her. You helped? Maya repeated quietly. Yeah, we collaborated. Name one thing you contributed to that report, Michael. I I reviewed the data. You reviewed my data. You spent 20 minutes skimming a report I spent 4 days building. That's not collaboration. That's theft. Patricia stood up. My office, now. I'm not finished. Now. In Patricia's office, the mask came completely off. How dare you undermine me in front of the team, Patricia hissed. I called out credit theft. That's not undermining. You embarrassed Michael. You made me look like I don't know what I'm doing. You created a hostile work environment. Maya laughed bitterly. I created a hostile work environment? I've been working in one for 3 months. You need to learn when to fight and when to accept reality. This is reality, Maya. Michael is better at client relations. He's polished. He's male, Maya interrupted. He's male, so clients trust him. His maleness makes him more credible, more professional, more worthy of credit. Her jaw tightened. That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said. You just used prettier words. Maya stood up. I'm done pretending this is anything other than sexism and bias. You steal my work, you give it to men. You tell me I need to look different, act different, be different, all while claiming you're helping me. I am helping you. I'm teaching you how to survive in this industry. No, you're teaching me how to disappear, how to make myself smaller, how to let mediocre men take credit for my excellence. That's not survival. That's erasure. The silence was suffocating. Patricia's voice, when she finally spoke, was cold and controlled. You're on thin ice, Maya. I suggest you think very carefully about your next move. I already have. I'm going to keep doing exceptional work, and eventually, someone will notice. If not you, then someone else. Maya walked out. She didn't see Patricia's expression crumble the moment the door closed. That night, Maya stayed late. Again, it had become her routine. Show up at 7 a.m., leave at 9 p.m., work through lunch, skip breaks, pour everything into her analysis, knowing full well someone else would take credit. But she couldn't help herself. The work mattered, even if nobody knew she was doing it. She was deep into a market analysis when her phone buzzed. Her sister, Jade, FaceTiming. Maya answered. Hey, shouldn't you be sleeping? Jade's face filled the screen. 16 years old, bald from chemo, but smiling. I can't sleep. Tell me about work. Work is work. That bad? Maya sighed. They're not treating me great, but I'm surviving. Because of me? What? No, Jade. I know you took that job because of my treatment. Mom told me about the bonus. Jade's voice got quiet. Maya, if the job is terrible, you don't have to. Stop. Don't even finish that sentence. Maya's throat was tight. You're my sister. I'd work a million terrible jobs if it meant you get better. But you're miserable. I'm fine. You're a terrible liar. Jade smiled sadly. I saw the pictures Mom posted. You dyed your hair black. You hate black hair. It's for work. It's for them, the people who care more about how you look than what you can do. Jade leaned closer to the screen. Maya, promise me something. When this is over, when I'm better and you've paid for the treatment, promise me you'll go somewhere that lets you be yourself. Maya's eyes filled with tears. I promise. Good, because purple hair Maya is the best Maya. Don't let them take her away forever. After they hung up, Maya sat in the empty office for a long time. Then she opened her laptop and got back to work. 6 weeks later, everything exploded. It was a Friday afternoon. Maya was at her desk, finalizing a routine sector analysis, when Patricia burst out of her office. Where's Jennifer? Jennifer Chow was Hamilton and Pierce's star analyst, Harvard MBA, 3 straight years of perfect performance reviews, the golden child who could do no wrong. Maternity leave, someone called. She had the baby on Tuesday. Patricia's face went white. When is she back? 12 weeks. No, 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 no. The Meridian deal. Jennifer was leading the entire analysis. It's due in 3 weeks. Maya's head snapped up. Meridian Capital. She knew that name. They were considering an $8 billion acquisition of a tech portfolio. It was the biggest deal Hamilton and Pierce had worked on in years. Can we reassign it? Someone asked. To who? Everyone's underwater, and this needs a specialist, someone who understands tech acquisitions, software valuations, SaaS metrics. I can do it. Every head in the analyst's pit turned. Maya was standing at her cubicle, heart pounding, hands shaking, but she'd said it. Patricia stared at her like she'd spoken a foreign language. What? I can handle the Meridian analysis. I've done 7 tech acquisition analyses, 3 in the SaaS space. I know the sector inside and out. You've been here 3 months? I've been doing this work for 5 years. Just because I've been here 3 months doesn't mean I'm not qualified. The pit was dead silent. You could hear the air conditioning humming. Patricia's jaw tightened. Maya, this is an $8 billion deal. Meridian's CEO is notoriously demanding. We can't afford mistakes. Then it's good you have someone who doesn't make mistakes. This isn't California. You can't just... I'm not asking for permission, Maya said, her voice steady. I'm telling you I can do this. Better than anyone else here. Michael Henderson laughed. Actually laughed. Better than Jennifer? She's been here 4 years. Maya turned to him. How many of those Jennifer reports did you actually read, Michael? Because I've read all of them. They're good, but I'm better. Michael's face went red. You're seriously? Enough. Patricia held up a hand. Maya, my office. Now. In Patricia's office, door closed. The pretense fell away. What the hell was that? Patricia demanded. That was me volunteering for a project I'm qualified for. You embarrassed me in front of the team. Then you were about to turn down a solution to your problem because of pride. It's not pride, it's... Patricia stopped herself, took a breath. Meridian's CEO is Richard Meridian, former Goldman executive, 65 years old, extremely traditional. He's going to take one look at you and... And what? Decide I'm not serious because I used to have purple hair? Because I have tattoos under these long sleeves I wear every single day? Patricia's expression was cold. Yes, exactly that. Then maybe Richard Meridian needs to get over his biases. That's not how this works. That's exactly how it works. Maya's voice rose. You keep telling me to change who I am, to hide, to shrink, and for what? So men like Richard Meridian feel comfortable? So Michael Henderson can keep taking credit for my work? Patricia froze. What did you say? You heard me. The coastal dynamics analysis? Mine. The Hyperion market assessment? Mine. The Vertex competitive landscape? All mine. But Michael's name is on them because you won't let me present to clients, because I don't look the part. Michael presented those analyses. Michael presented my analyses. I did the work. He took the credit, with your blessing. The silence was suffocating. Finally, Patricia spoke, her voice ice cold. You're not doing the Meridian deal. I'm calling Jonathan Price. He's a contractor who... Jonathan Price is mediocre at best. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. He's professional. He's male. That's what you mean. He's male, so clients will trust him. He's male, so he gets opportunities. It doesn't matter that I'm better. It matters that he has a penis. Get out of my office. Gladly. Maya walked out, her whole body shaking. Behind her, Patricia slammed the door. In the hallway, Keisha was waiting. Girl, I heard everything. Are you okay? No, I'm not. But I'm done being invisible. What are you going to do? Maya looked back at Patricia's closed door, then at her cubicle in the corner, then at the exit. She made a decision that would change everything. Something that'll probably get me fired. Keisha grabbed her arm. Maya, don't do anything crazy. Too late. I'm already crazy. Might as well go all in. That night, Maya did something reckless, something career-ending, something absolutely insane. She opened her laptop and started working on the Meridian Capital analysis. Without authorization, without permission, without Patricia's knowledge. If anyone found out, she'd be fired instantly. No severance, no bonus, no way to pay for Jade's treatment. But Maya didn't care anymore. She was done being invisible. Here's how it worked. Every day, Maya showed up at 7 a.m. and did her regular assignments, the boring grunt work, the tasks nobody else wanted. She played the good employee, kept her head down, said yes to everything. But every night, after the office emptied out around 7 p.m., Maya stayed. She'd wait until the cleaning crew finished at 8:30, wait until the security guard did his rounds at 9, wait until she was absolutely, completely alone. Then she'd pull up Jennifer's preliminary files on the Meridian deal and start building. The acquisition portfolio included 5 tech companies: Synergy Tech, cloud infrastructure; Dataflow Systems, analytics platform; Connect Hub, enterprise communication; Secure Vault, cybersecurity; and Streamline Solutions, workflow automation. Meridian Capital wanted to acquire all 5 as a package deal for $8 billion. The question, was it worth it? Maya dove in like her life depended on it. Because it did. Night 1, she analyzed the market opportunity. Why these 5 companies? What was the strategic rationale? How did they fit together? Night 2, she modeled out the financials, revenue projections, cost synergies, integration expenses. Night 3, she dug into the competitive landscape. Who else was in the space? What were the threats? By the end of week 1, Maya had built more analysis than Jennifer had completed in 2 months. But she was just getting started. "Girl, you look like death," Keisha said one morning, appearing at Maya's cubicle with coffee. Maya looked up from her screen. Her eyes were red-shot. She'd gotten maybe 3 hours of sleep. "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're running yourself into the ground." "Lower your voice. What's going on? And don't say nothing, because I can literally see you dying in real time." Maya wanted to tell her, to explain what she was doing, but she couldn't risk it. "Just dealing with some personal stuff. I'll be okay." Keisha didn't look convinced. "Does this have to do with the Meridian deal? Because I heard Patricia hired Jonathan Price to—" "It's fine, Keisha, really." "It's not fine. Nothing about this place is fine." Keisha sat on the edge of Maya's desk. "Look, I know you're trying to prove something, but you can't sacrifice yourself for a company that doesn't appreciate you." "I'm not sacrificing myself for the company." "Then what are you doing?" Maya looked at her friend. "I'm proving I can do the work they said I couldn't do, and when the moment comes, if it comes, I'll be ready." Keisha shook her head. "You're either brilliant or crazy." "Probably both." Week 2 was harder. Maya's body was starting to rebel. She'd wake up at 6 a.m. after 3 hours of sleep, drag herself to the office, and spend the day in a fog. Then, the moment everyone left, the adrenaline would kick in and she'd work until 2 or 3 a.m. Her apartment became just a place she showered and changed clothes. She was living on coffee and vending machine snacks. She'd lost weight. Dark circles had formed permanent homes under her eyes. But the analysis was coming together beautifully. She'd modeled out integration scenarios for each of the 5 companies, identified cost synergies that would save Meridian over $200 million annually, mapped out technology overlaps and how to consolidate them. This wasn't just good work. This was the best work she'd ever done. On night 12 at 1:47 a.m., Maya's phone buzzed. Her mom. "Maya, we need to talk about Jade." Maya's heart stopped. "What's wrong?" "The doctor called today. The cancer is progressing faster than they expected. They want to move up the treatment timeline." "How much faster?" "They need to start in 6 weeks instead of 6 months. If we wait any longer, the experimental treatment might not work." 6 weeks. Maya did the math in her head. Her bonus wasn't due for another 5 months. Even if she got promoted tomorrow, she wouldn't have enough money in 6 weeks. Mom, I don't know if I can. I know, Mija. I know, but I had to tell you. The doctor says this is critical. We need $50,000 up front just to start. $50,000. Maya had maybe $15,000 in savings. Even if she maxed out her credit cards, sold everything she owned, she'd be lucky to come up with 30. I'll figure something out, Maya said, not knowing how. Are you okay, Maya? You sound exhausted. I'm fine, Mom. Just working hard for Jade. I know you are, but please take care of yourself, too. After they hung up, Maya sat in the dark office staring at nothing. 6 weeks. She opened her laptop and kept working. Discovery, 2:01 p.m. Day 16, 2:47 a.m. Maya had been at the office for 19 hours straight. She was working on Synergy Tech, the cloud infrastructure company. According to their financial statements, they were generating $180 million in annual revenue. Strong growth, solid margins, a valuable acquisition target. Maya was cross-referencing their revenue data with user metrics when something caught her eye. The numbers didn't match. Synergy Tech claimed to have 250,000 enterprise users. At their pricing structure, roughly $720 per user per year, that should generate around $180 million. The math checked out. Except, Maya pulled up third-party market data. She found analyst reports from Gartner and Forrester that tracked enterprise software adoption. According to those reports, Synergy Tech had approximately 153,000 users, not 250,000. Maya frowned. Maybe the company data was more recent? She dug deeper. She found customer testimonials on Synergy Tech's website. They listed 12 major clients by name. Maya looked up each one. 8 of them were legitimate companies using Synergy Tech services. 4 of them didn't exist. Completely fabricated companies, fake testimonials. Maya's heart started racing. She pulled up Synergy Tech's employee count on LinkedIn. 247 employees. For a company generating $180 million in revenue, that would mean each employee was generating $728,000 annually. Possible, but unusually high for a cloud infrastructure company. She looked at their office locations. 3 offices: San Francisco, Austin, Chicago. All small. Combined square footage suggested maybe 300 employees max, not the 500 plus they'd need for their claimed revenue. Maya opened a new spreadsheet and started calculating. Based on verified user data, approximately 153,000 users, at their pricing, $720 per user annually. Actual revenue, approximately $110 million. Reported revenue, $180 million. Actual revenue, $110 million. Discrepancy, $70 million. Someone was inflating the numbers by 64%. This wasn't rounding errors. This wasn't accounting differences. This was fraud. Maya leaned back in her chair, her mind racing. If Meridian Capital acquired Synergy Tech based on $180 million in revenue, they'd be overpaying by $400 million. The deal was structured with revenue multiples. If the revenue was fake, the valuation was fake. And when the fraud came out, and it would come out, the liability would be catastrophic. Shareholder lawsuits claiming Meridian's executives failed in their due diligence, regulatory investigations into the acquisition process, potential criminal charges for whoever signed off on the deal knowing the numbers were wrong. And Hamilton and Pierce, as the advisory firm that recommended the acquisition, they'd be sued into oblivion for malpractice. Maya sat there in the dark office, the weight of what she discovered crushing her chest. She'd just found something that could save Meridian Capital from a disaster, and something that could destroy her career. Maya spent the next 3 hours documenting everything. She cross-referenced every data point. She built models showing what Synergy Tech's actual valuation should be. She created a forensic analysis of their customer claims, comparing them to independent market data. By 6 a.m., she had a 47-page report with irrefutable evidence. Synergy Tech was committing fraud. Now she had to decide what to do about it. Maya closed her laptop and went to the office bathroom. She splashed water on her face and looked in the mirror. She looked terrible, exhausting, beaten down, barely holding it together. She pulled out her phone. A text from her sister, sent at midnight. "Can't sleep. Thinking about treatment. I'm scared, Maya." Maya's eyes filled with tears. 6 weeks, $50,000 up front, $300,000 total. She opened her banking app, checked her savings, $14,872. She had 2 choices. Choice 1, go to Patricia this morning, show her the fraud analysis, explain what she'd found, save Meridian Capital from a catastrophic acquisition. But if she did that, Patricia would know Maya had been working on the project without authorization, direct insubordination, grounds for immediate termination. No job, no bonus, no way to pay for Jade's treatment. Her 16-year-old sister would die because Maya chose to do the right thing. Choice 2, delete everything. Pretend she never found it. Let Jonathan Price present his mediocre analysis that completely missed the fraud. Let Meridian Capital acquire Synergy Tech. Let the fraud blow up post-acquisition. Keep her job, get her bonus in 5 months, but Jade's treatment needs to start in 6 weeks. She'd still lose her sister. Maya slid down the bathroom wall and sat on the floor, crying. There was no good choice. Every path led to someone getting hurt. She sat there for 20 minutes, trying to figure out a solution that didn't exist. Then her phone buzzed, her mom calling. "Mom? Mija, I have news. I talked to the hospital about the payment. They said if we can get $50,000 up front, they'll work with us on a payment plan for the rest. They know our situation. They want to help Jade." A payment plan? Maya's mind started working. How long is the payment plan? 18 months. We'd pay about $14,000 a month after the initial deposit. $14,000 a month. Maya made $8,000 after taxes, but if she got her bonus in 5 months, that was $75,000, enough to cover 5 months of payments. Then she'd figure out the rest. Extra jobs, loans, something. It wasn't perfect, but it was possible. If she kept her job for 5 more months. "Okay, Mom, let me see what I can do about the $50,000. "How? Maya, where are you going to get—" "I'll figure it out, I promise." She hung up. Maya sat on that bathroom floor for another 10 minutes thinking. Then she made her decision. At 8:30 a.m., Maya walked into Patricia's office. Patricia looked up, surprised. "Maya, what are you doing here so early?" "I need to tell you something." "Can it wait? I have a meeting." "I found fraud in the Meridian portfolio." Patricia's pen stopped mid-signature. The office went very quiet. "What are you talking about?" "Synergy Tech, one of the 5 acquisition targets. They're inflating revenue by approximately $70 million, nearly 40% of their reported numbers. If Meridian acquires them at current valuation, they'll overpay by $400 million. Patricia slowly set down her pen. "How do you know this?" Maya placed a USB drive on Patricia's desk. "Because I've been working on the Meridian analysis for 16 days, on my own time, without your permission." Patricia's face went through several emotions in rapid succession: confusion, realization, anger, panic. "You what?" "I worked on it, every night, after everyone left. I built a complete analysis, and I found fraud that Jonathan Price completely missed. You disobeyed a direct order. I saved your client $400 million. You could have destroyed your career." "I did destroy my career," Maya said, her voice shaking, "but I'm not going to let my career destruction also destroy your client. That USB drive contains complete documentation of the fraud, financial analysis, third-party verification, everything you need." Patricia picked up the USB drive like it was a bomb. Why would you do this? You knew I'd fire you if I found out you were working on this project. Maya thought about Jade, about the treatment timeline, about the impossible choice she'd just made. Because someone has to do the right thing, even when it costs them everything. You understand what you're saying? You're admitting to insubordination, to violating company policy, to... I understand perfectly. Maya's voice was steady now. I'm admitting that I worked on a project without authorization because I knew I could find things others would miss, and I was right. I found fraud that would have destroyed this firm's reputation and cost your client billions. You should have come to me first, before you started working on this. If I'd come to you first, you would have said no. You would have told me to stay in my lane, to focus on my assigned work, and the fraud would never have been discovered. Patricia opened her mouth, closed it. She had no response because Maya was absolutely right. Look at the analysis, Maya said quietly. Then decide what to do with me. But please don't ignore the fraud because you're angry at how I found it. Patricia stared at her for a long moment. Wait in the conference room. I need to review this. Maya nodded and left. In the hallway, her hands were shaking so badly she had to lean against the wall. She'd just confessed to career-ending insubordination. She'd just destroyed any chance of keeping her job long enough to get her bonus. She'd just sacrificed her sister's treatment to expose fraud at a company she didn't even work for. Keisha appeared beside her. Girl, what's going on? You look like you're about to pass out. I might be. What did you do? Maya looked at her friend. Something that'll probably cost me everything. Maya. I found fraud in the Meridian deal. I've been working on it in secret for 2 weeks. I just told Patricia everything. Keisha's eyes went wide. Are you insane? Probably. You're going to get fired. I know. Your sister, the treatment. I know. I know what this means, Keisha. I know what this means. But I couldn't just let it go. $8 billion, people's jobs, the firm's reputation. I had to say something. Keisha pulled her into a hug. You did the right thing. The right thing is going to kill my sister. No, we'll figure something out. GoFundMe, loans, something. But you did the right thing, Maya. That matters. Maya wasn't sure if it mattered, but it was done now. At 8:30 a.m., Maya called an emergency meeting. Maya was escorted to the main conference room, the big one where they met with major clients. She'd never been allowed in this room before. Now she was here, about to be fired in front of everyone. The senior partners filed in. Douglas Hamilton himself, the firm's 70-year-old founder, 3 other managing partners, Patricia, and Maya standing in the corner like she was on trial, which essentially she was. Patricia stood at the front of the room with a laptop. Gentlemen, we have a significant issue with the Meridian deal. She clicked to Maya's analysis on the projection screen. One of the acquisition target companies, Synergy Tech, is committing accounting fraud. They're inflating revenue by approximately $70 million, nearly 40% of their reported numbers. The partners leaned forward. Patricia walked them through it. The user discrepancies, the fake customer testimonials, the employee count that didn't match, the forensic analysis of their financial claims. It took 30 minutes. Every slide was from Maya's report. When Patricia finished, one of the partners asked the obvious question, how did we find this? Jonathan Price is supposed to be handling the analysis. Patricia's jaw tightened. Jonathan missed it. Maya Rodriguez found it. All eyes turned to Maya. Ms. Rodriguez? Douglas Hamilton looked at her. You're the junior analyst who's been here, 3 months? Yes, sir. How did you find this when our contracted specialist didn't? Maya took a breath. Because I went deeper than standard due diligence, I didn't just review the provided financial statements, I cross-referenced their claims with third-party data, market reports, customer verification, employee counts. I looked for discrepancies. Why? Because you people kept overlooking me, because I needed to prove I could do this, because I was tired of being invisible. Maya didn't say any of that. Instead, she said, because finding the truth requires more than checking boxes. It requires actually investigating. Douglas nodded slowly. And when did you do this analysis? Here it comes. Over the past 16 days, after hours, without authorization. Without authorization? You worked on a project you weren't assigned to? That's grounds for immediate... Gentlemen, Douglas held up a hand. The room went quiet. Let her explain. Maya looked at the founder of Hamilton and Pierce. I worked on this project because I knew I could do it better than Jonathan Price. I worked on it without authorization because I knew I wouldn't be given permission. And I'm telling you about it now because the fraud I found could destroy your relationship with Meridian if it's not addressed. You understand you violated company policy? Yes, sir. You understand this is grounds for termination? Yes, sir. Then why did you do it? Maya thought about all the reasons. The stolen credit, the discrimination, the need to prove herself, the competitive fire that wouldn't let her watch someone else fail at something she knew she could do better. But she said, because sometimes doing the right thing matters more than following the rules. Douglas Hamilton looked at her for a long moment. Then he looked at Patricia. What's your assessment of this analysis? Patricia hesitated. I could see the conflict on her face. If she praised Maya's work, she'd be admitting Jonathan Price was incompetent. If she dismissed it, she'd be ignoring critical fraud. Finally, Patricia said, it's the most thorough fraud analysis I've seen in 20 years. The room went silent. If we'd presented this acquisition to Meridian without catching the fraud, Patricia continued, they would have sued us for malpractice. The liability would have bankrupted this firm. Douglas turned to the other partners. Gentlemen, we have a problem. Maya Rodriguez violated company policy by working on an unauthorized project. However, by doing so, she may have saved this firm from a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit. One partner spoke up. The Meridian presentation is in 2 days. We need to completely revise the analysis to account for this. That's impossible, another partner said. Jonathan's analysis is based on flawed data. Starting over would take... I have a complete alternative analysis ready, Maya interrupted. Everyone turned to stare at her. What? Douglas asked. I didn't just find the fraud. I built a complete revised recommendation. 4 companies instead of 5, revised valuation, risk mitigation strategies, integration roadmap. It's all in my report. Patricia looked at her with something between admiration and disbelief. You prepared a complete alternative proposal? Yes. I knew finding fraud without offering a solution wouldn't help, so I modeled out what the deal should look like if Synergy Tech is excluded. Douglas Hamilton laughed. Actually laughed. You're either the most ambitious analyst I've ever met or completely insane. Probably both, sir. He looked at the partners, then at Patricia, then back at Maya. Ms. Rodriguez, you're going to present this analysis to Richard Meridian, day after tomorrow, 2 p.m. If he accepts our revised recommendation, we'll discuss your future employment. If he doesn't, Douglas didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. Maya nodded. Understood. One more thing, Douglas said. Why should we trust your analysis? You're 29 years old. You've been here 3 months. Why should we bet the firm's reputation on your work? Maya met his eyes. Because I just saved you from betting the firm's reputation on fraud. Douglas smiled. Fair point. After the partners filed out, Patricia stopped Maya in the hallway. You just gambled your entire career on a single presentation. I know. Richard Meridian is going to judge you the second you walk in that room. Your age, your appearance, everything. I know. And you're doing this anyway. Maya looked at her boss. I've been judged every day since I walked into this building. At least now I get to prove all of you wrong while I'm at it. Patricia almost smiled. Almost. For what it's worth, Patricia said quietly, that was the most courageous thing I've seen anyone do in this industry. Stupid, career-ending, but courageous. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You still have to present it without getting fired. Maya had 48 hours to prepare for the most important presentation of her life. She didn't sleep. She refined every slide, anticipated every question, rehearsed every transition. She built backup analyses for backup analyses. By the morning of the presentation, Maya had prepared for every possible scenario except one: whether to be herself. She stood in her apartment at 6 a.m., staring at two outfits laid out on her bed. Option 1, the conservative navy suit, long sleeves, hair pulled back tight, the version of herself that Hamilton and Pierce wanted, the version that disappeared into the background. Option 2, a fitted blazer with a sleeveless blouse underneath, hair down, the version of herself that had tattoos visible, the version that refused to hide. Her phone buzzed. Keisha. What are you wearing? Maya laughed despite her nerves. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Wear what makes you feel powerful. I don't know what that is anymore. Yes, you do. Keisha's voice was firm. You know exactly who you are, Maya. The question is whether you're brave enough to show them. After they hung up, Maya looked at the two outfits again. Then she picked up option 2. If she was going down, she was going down as herself. At 1:45 p.m., Maya walked into Hamilton and Pierce's largest conference room. She was wearing the sleeveless blouse, her tattoos were fully visible, geometric patterns running down both arms. Her hair was down, and if you look closely, you could see where the black dye was growing out and purple was starting to show through. Patricia was already there, setting up. She looked at Maya and froze. Your tattoos are showing. I know. Maya, we talked about, I'm not covering them up. Maya's voice was calm, but final. If Richard Meridian can't look past my tattoos to see my analysis, then he's not the kind of client I want to work for anyway. You don't get to make that decision. I just did. Patricia stared at her for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, she nodded. You know what? Fine. Let's see what happens. The senior partners arrived, then the Hamilton and Pierce team, 8 people total, all here to witness Maya either save the firm or destroy her career. At exactly 2 p.m., Richard Meridian walked in. 65 years old, silver hair, perfectly tailored Tom Ford suit, $3 billion of net worth, former Goldman Sachs managing director, current CEO of Meridian Capital. A man who'd built his career in finance when women wore skirts and made coffee. Next to him, his CFO, Margaret Torres, General Counsel, David Kim, and Chief Investment Officer, James Chen, all impeccably dressed, all radiating the kind of confidence that comes from having billions. Richard Meridian's eyes swept the room, taking inventory. They landed on Maya. She watched his expression shift as he registered her appearance. The tattoos, the age, the womanness of her in a room full of suits. He didn't look pleased. Douglas Hamilton stood up. Richard, thank you for making time. We have some significant updates on the acquisition analysis. Where's Jennifer Chow? I was told she'd be presenting. Jennifer is on maternity leave. Maya Rodriguez will be presenting today. Meridian looked at Maya more carefully. How old are you? The room tensed. It was an inappropriate question, potentially illegal. Maya met his gaze steadily. 29, Mr. Meridian. 29, he looked at Douglas. You're betting an $8 billion deal on a 29-year-old? I'm betting it on the analyst who found something that could have cost you $400 million if we hadn't caught it, Douglas replied. That got Meridian's attention. What are you talking about? I'll let Maya explain. Meridian turned to Maya. His expression was skeptical, dismissive, already prepared to be disappointed. Maya had seen that look 1,000 times. She stood up, clicked to her first slide, and began. Thank you for being here, Mr. Meridian. I'm going to tell you 3 things today. First, why you should acquire 4 of the 5 companies in this portfolio. Second, why you should absolutely not acquire the 5th. And third, how I found fraud that no one else caught. The room went silent. Meridian leaned forward. You have my attention. For the next 20 minutes, Maya presented like her life depended on it. Because it did. She walked them through the strategic rationale, why these tech companies made sense as acquisitions, how they'd integrate with Meridian's existing holdings, the market opportunity, the competitive landscape. She fielded questions without hesitation. When Margaret Torres, the CFO, challenged her on a revenue assumption, Maya pulled up 3 independent data sources to validate it. When David Kim asked about regulatory risks, Maya had a detailed breakdown ready, showing exactly which regulations applied, which didn't, and what the compliance costs would be. She was flawless, and everyone in the room could see it. Even a Richard Meridian, whose skeptical expression was slowly transforming into something else. Interest, maybe even respect. Then Maya reached the critical slide. However, during our due diligence, we identified a significant issue with one of the portfolio companies. The room temperature seemed to drop. Maya clicked to her fraud analysis. Synergy Tech is reporting annual revenue of $180 million. Our analysis indicates the actual revenue is approximately $110 million. Someone is inflating the numbers by nearly 40%. Meridian's CFO sat up straighter. That's a serious accusation. It's a documented fact. Maya clicked to her evidence. Synergy Tech claims 250,000 enterprise users. Third-party market data shows approximately 153,000. They list 12 major clients on their website. 4 of those companies don't exist. We verified this. She walked them through every piece of evidence, the fake customer testimonials, the employee count that didn't match revenue, the office space that was too small, the pricing math that didn't work. It was devastating, methodical, irrefutable. When she finished, the room was dead silent. Finally, Meridian spoke. How did your team miss this? He was looking at Patricia. Patricia's voice was tight. Our contractor conducted standard due diligence. This level of investigation goes beyond what you were paid to do? Meridian's voice was sharp. I'm paying you millions to advise me on an $8 billion acquisition, and you almost let me buy a fraudulent company? Mr. Meridian, with respect, standard due diligence wouldn't have caught this. You have to actively look for fraud. You have to question the numbers, cross-reference sources, investigate discrepancies. Most firms don't do that because it's time-consuming and expensive. But you did. Yes, sir. Why? Because I'm tired of being invisible. Because I needed to prove I could do this. Because I was working at 2 a.m. with nothing to lose and everything to gain. Maya said, because finding the truth requires more than checking boxes. It requires actually caring about getting it right. Meridian studied her for a long moment. Miss Meridian, if we'd acquired Synergy Tech at the inflated valuation, what would have happened? You would have overpaid by approximately $400 million. When the fraud came out, and it would have come out within 18 months, you'd face shareholder lawsuits, regulatory investigations, and significant reputation damage. Your stock price would drop. Analysts would question your due diligence process. It would be catastrophic. And Hamilton and Pierce would be sued for malpractice, probably successfully. Meridian looked at Douglas Hamilton. She just saved both of us. Douglas nodded. Yes, she did. So what's your recommendation? Maya asked. Maya clicked to her final slides. Restructure the deal. Acquire the other 4 companies at a revised valuation. Total deal drops from $8 billion to $6 billion. You lose Synergy Tech's potential, but you also eliminate massive fraud liability. What if we want to acquire Synergy Tech separately after investigation? You could, but I'd recommend walking away entirely. A company willing to commit fraud at this scale isn't a company you want to do business with. The culture is rotten. Meridian nodded slowly. Show me the revised deal structure. For the next 15 minutes, Maya walked them through her alternative proposal. 4 companies instead of 5, revised pricing, integration timeline, risk mitigation strategies, post-acquisition value creation opportunities. She'd thought of everything. When she finished, Meridian looked at his team. They were all nodding. He turned to Maya. Ms. Meridian, I have 3 questions. Yes, sir. First, how long did it take you to build this analysis? 16 days, working nights and weekends. Nights and weekends? This wasn't your assigned project? Maya glanced at Patricia. No, sir. I worked on it without authorization. Meridian's eyebrow raised. You risked your job to work on a project you weren't assigned? Yes, sir. Why would you do that? Because I knew I could do it better than anyone else, and I was right. A smile tugged at Meridian's lips. Second question, those tattoos on your arms, what are they? The room tensed. I could feel everyone waiting to see how she'd respond. Geometric patterns that represent my family, Maya said calmly. Each line connects to others to form a larger pattern. Like how families connect to form communities. Your employer didn't have a problem with them. My employer asked me to cover them. I did for 3 months. Today, I decided not to. Why today? Because if I'm going to present the most important analysis of my career, I'm going to do it as myself, not as the version of myself someone else wants me to be. Meridian nodded slowly. Third question. You found fraud that my team missed, that Hamilton and Pierce's contractor missed, that everyone missed. How? Maya thought about her answer carefully. I think differently than traditional analysts. My background is unconventional. I worked in startups before business school. I've seen how companies fake their numbers. I know where to look. And honestly, Mr. Meridian, people like me, people who don't fit the traditional mold, we tend to question assumptions that others accept. That's an advantage in due diligence. People like you, Meridian repeated. You mean women, people with tattoos, young people? All of the above. Anyone who's been told they don't belong learns to look closer, question more, work harder. It's survival, and it makes us better at finding problems others miss. The room was silent. Then Richard Meridian smiled. Really smiled. Douglas, I'm approving this acquisition. Revised structure. $6 billion, 4 companies. Synergy Tech is out. Douglas Hamilton looked relieved. Excellent! We'll begin preparing. I'm not finished. Meridian turned to Maya. I have 2 conditions. Yes, sir? First, I want a full forensic audit of Synergy Tech before we make any final decisions. If the fraud is as extensive as you've documented, I want evidence for potential legal action. We can arrange that, Douglas said. Second, Meridian kept his eyes on Maya. I want her on my team. The room exploded. Richard, Patricia started. Miss Rodriguez, Meridian continued, ignoring everyone else. I'm offering you a position, head of due diligence at Meridian Capital. You'd oversee all acquisition analyses for my firm. Starting salary, $300,000, plus bonus structure, plus equity. Maya couldn't breathe. $300,000? Mr. Meridian, I appreciate the offer, but I'm employed at Hamilton and Pierce. For how much? I'm not comfortable discussing. It's not enough. Whatever they're paying you, it's not enough. Meridian looked at Douglas. No offense, Douglas, but you've been wasting her talent. Douglas shifted uncomfortably. Richard, Maya is a valued member of our team. Really? Because I heard she's been here 3 months and you've been stealing her work? The room went dead silent. Patricia's face turned red. That's not... Is it true? Meridian asked Maya directly. Have other people been taking credit for your analysis? Maya glanced at Patricia, at Douglas, at all the partners watching. Truth or loyalty? Yes, Maya said quietly. My work has appeared in client presentations with other analysts' names on it. How many times? 6 times in 3 months. Meridian's jaw tightened. He looked at Douglas with something close to disgust. You've been here 3 months, found fraud that saved me $400 million, built the best acquisition analysis I've seen in 5 years, and they've been stealing your credit? It's more complicated than... Maya started. It's not complicated. It's wrong. Meridian stood up. Miss Rodriguez, my offer stands. $300,000 base salary, but I'm adding something else. A signing bonus. $100,000. Paid today. Maya's heart stopped. $100,000? That was enough. More than enough. Enough for Jade's entire treatment with money left over. Mr. Meridian, I appreciate the offer, but I'm employed at Hamilton and Pierce. I don't know why you need the money, but I can see in your face that you do. Maybe it's debt, maybe it's family. I don't care. You just saved me hundreds of millions. 100,000 is nothing compared to that. He pulled a business card from his pocket and handed it to Maya. My personal cell. Call me by tomorrow with your answer. If you accept, we'll have contracts drafted and the signing bonus wired within 24 hours. He looked at Douglas. Thank you for the presentation. I'll expect the revised deal documents by end of week. Then Richard Meridian walked out, followed by his team. The door closed. Everyone in the room stared at Maya. For 10 seconds, nobody moved. Then Richard Hamilton erupted. What the hell just happened? Patricia sank into a chair. She poached her right in front of us. Can he do that? One of the partners demanded. He just did, another replied. Douglas turned to Maya. You're not seriously considering this, are you? Maya looked at the business card in her hand. Richard Meridian's personal cell number. $300,000, $100,000 signing bonus, head of due diligence. I don't know, she said honestly. Maya, think about this. Douglas's voice was urgent. You've been here 3 months. You don't know Meridian. You don't know his firm. This could be a disaster. Or it could be the opportunity of a lifetime. We can make you a counteroffer. Don't. Maya's voice was sharp. Don't make me a counteroffer now that someone else wants me. You had 3 months to see my value. You didn't. Or you did and you just didn't care. That's not fair, Patricia said quietly. Isn't it? Maya looked at her boss. You put Michael's name on 6 of my reports. You kept me in the back corner. You told me to cover my tattoos, dye my hair, disappear. You did everything possible to make me invisible. I was trying to protect you. You were protecting yourself. You didn't want a junior analyst who looked like me showing up your senior analysts who looked like them. It was easier to hide me than to challenge the system. Patricia flinched, but didn't argue. Maya, tried Douglas again, we can fix this. We can give you credit going forward. We can promote you. You can give me what I deserved 3 months ago? How generous. You're angry, I understand, but don't make a career decision based on anger. I'm not angry. Maya's voice was steady. I'm clear. For the first time in 3 months, I'm clear about what I'm worth and what I deserve, and it's not this. She grabbed her laptop and headed for the door. Maya, wait, Patricia stood up. Before you decide anything, you need to know something. Maya stopped. If you leave, Patricia continued, you won't get your year-end bonus. It's tied to employment status. If you resign, you forfeit it. The bonus, $75,000. Maya had forgotten about that detail. How much notice do I need to give to keep it? Maya asked. Through December 31st, 5 more months. 5 more months of stolen credit. 5 more months of Patricia telling her to cover who she was. But $75,000. I need time to think, Maya said. Take the day, Douglas said. But Maya, that man offered you that job because you did extraordinary work. Work we hired you to do. Work we've been paying you to do. If you leave now, you're leaving before we can make things right. You had 3 months to make things right. You chose not to. Maya left. In the hallway, Keisha was waiting. Girl, did Richard Meridian just offer you a job? And a $100,000 signing bonus? What? Keisha screamed, then lowered her voice. Maya, that's incredible. I know, but you lose your year-end bonus if you leave. I know. So what are you going to do? Maya pulled out her phone. She had 3 missed calls from her mom. She called back. Maya, the hospital called. They need an answer about Jade's treatment. If we commit today, they can start next week, but we need the $50,000 deposit. Next week? 7 weeks earlier than the accelerated timeline? Mom, I think I can get the money. How? Maya, I don't want you to do anything. It's legitimate. I just got a job offer with a signing bonus. It's enough. Her mom started crying. Are you serious? I'm serious, Mom. Jade can start treatment next week. After she hung up, Maya leaned against the wall. Keisha put a hand on her shoulder. You're taking Meridian's offer, aren't you? I think I have to. What about the bonus here? Maya thought about Patricia telling her to cover up, Michael's smirk when he took credit for her work, 3 months of being erased. Some things matter more than money. Like what? Maya looked at her friend. Like being able to look at myself in the mirror, like working somewhere that values me, like saving my sister's life. Keisha hugged her. You're doing the right thing. It doesn't feel right. It feels terrifying. The right thing usually does. That night, Maya sat at her apartment with her laptop open. 2 emails drafted. One to Douglas Hamilton, accepting whatever counteroffer they'd make, staying at Hamilton and Pierce, getting the year-end bonus, playing it safe. One to Richard Meridian, accepting his offer, leaving Hamilton and Pierce, betting on herself. She thought about her conversation with Jade weeks ago, when she had made her promise to go somewhere that let her be herself. She thought about Patricia's face when Maya had called out the stolen credit. She thought about Richard Meridian saying, if I'm going to present the most important analysis of my career, I'm going to do it as myself. Maya clicked on the email to Richard Meridian, typed 3 words, I accept, Maya. Hit send. Then she closed her laptop, called her mom, and said 4 words that made them both cry. Jade can start treatment. The next morning, Maya walked into Hamilton and Pierce at 7 a.m. She was wearing a sleeveless dress, tattoos fully visible, hair down, with purple clearly showing where the black dye had faded. She looked like herself, finally. Patricia was already in her office. Maya knocked. Come in. Maya handed her a printed resignation letter. Patricia looked at it but didn't pick it up. You're sure? I'm sure. We're prepared to make a significant counteroffer. Promotion to senior analyst, 150 base, name on all your projects going forward, your own office. Thank you, but no. Patricia nodded slowly. Because of Meridian's signing bonus? Because of respect. He saw my value immediately. You saw my tattoos first. That's not... Patricia stopped. Started again. You're right. I did. And I'm sorry. It was the first time Patricia had apologized. I accept your apology, but I'm still leaving. When? Today is my last day. Mr. Meridian is wiring the signing bonus this afternoon. My sister starts treatment Monday. Patricia's expression softened. Your sister? That's why you needed the money. That's why I needed the job. The money was always about her. Maya, I should have... Patricia's voice cracked. I should have been better. To you. To a lot of people. I've spent so long trying to fit into this industry that I forgot what it cost me. And I made you pay that cost too. Yeah, you did. For what it's worth, Patricia said quietly, you're the best analyst I've ever worked with, and you deserved better than what you got here. Thank you for saying that. Maya turned to leave. Maya? She looked back. Don't let them change you. At Meridian, don't let anyone convince you to cover those tattoos or dye your hair or be anyone other than exactly who you are. Promise me. Maya smiled. I promise. At 11 a.m., Maya cleaned out her desk. It didn't take long. 3 months of employment fit into one cardboard box. As she was leaving, Michael Henderson appeared. So you're really going? I'm really going. Look, Maya, about the credit thing. Save it, Michael. We both know what happened. You got credit for work I did. You let it happen. You enjoyed it. His face reddened. I didn't ask for... You didn't stop it either. Maya picked up her box. You know what the difference between us is, Michael? When Richard Meridian asked me a question I couldn't answer, I said, I don't know. You would have bullshitted your way through it and hoped no one noticed. That's why you'll stay here and I'm moving up. She walked past him. At the exit, Keisha was waiting with coffee and a smile. Freedom looks good on you. Freedom feels terrifying. All the best things do. Keisha hugged her. You're going to kill it at Meridian, and someday when you're running that place, remember us little people. You're not a little person, Keisha. You're the only person who made this place bearable. Stay in touch? Always. Maya walked out of Hamilton and Pierce for the last time. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Signing bonus wire confirmed. $100,000 deposited to your account. Welcome to Meridian Capital. Richard. Maya stopped on the sidewalk and checked her banking app. Balance, $114,872. Enough for Jade's treatment, with money left over. She sat down on a bench and cried. Not because she was sad, because she'd won. Maya starts at Meridian Capital. She builds a diverse team of unconventional analysts who all faced the same discrimination she did. But the story isn't over. The Wall Street Journal runs an expose on Hamilton and Pierce. Patricia faces consequences. The firm undergoes a massive reckoning. Maya testifies before Congress about workplace discrimination. And years later, she returns to Hamilton and Pierce, not as an employee, but as a speaker at their Women in Leadership conference. The ripple effect of her choice changes an entire industry. And Jade? Well, you'll have to wait for part 2 to find out what happens with her treatment.